This episode of On the Trail with Frontier Nursing University was filmed on the Florida leg of the presidential tour. During this tour, we traveled across the state of Florida, making stops in Miami, Tampa, Kissimmee, Altamonte Springs, and Orlando. We visited a variety of graduates at their midwifery and women's health practices. We mingled with graduates, students, and faculty at the Doral Yard in Miami on our first night in Florida. Our deans, Dr. Paula Alexander Delpesh and Dr. Diane John, and board member Peter Schwartz also joined us. All of the graduates we met were amazing, and we had the opportunity to sit down with Triana Boggs, a dedicated home birth midwife in Tampa. Triana serves a diverse patient population and shared her passion for personalized, culturally centered care and the importance of expanding birthing options in the community. Meet Triana.
Well, thank you again so much for having us today. What I'm really interested in is hearing a little bit about your story and what led you into midwifery in the first place, and also what brought you to Frontier.
Yeah, so thank you for coming by. This is really an honor to have you guys here. Frontier is definitely the university that I chose because of the community aspect. And so, community care is important to me. And what brought me to midwifery was, the struggles that I had in my own prenatal care as a teen mother. And I went into preterm labor and didn't have the best of care prenatally. And I see a lot of that even being a NICU nurse, being a NICU nurse for the last 11 years, I see a lot of the women who didn't have the best prenatal care and that connection to community to kind of help them in their pregnancy. So I wanted to be a change and a difference. And so I wanted to offer that in the communities.
I love that. I think that midwives are known for listening to women. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of what's missing when people don't get good care is, they say, I know something's wrong. They say this is important to me, and somebody doesn't listen, or it seems like they don't care. And so did you have an experience with a midwife at some point, or how did you find out about midwifery?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I never had heard of a midwife during my pregnancies until I went on to, be a nurse myself and work in the hospital setting, where I was like, there has to be something different. There has to be a better way. And I just did some more research and found that there are people who do this work. There are midwives who do this work that make a difference and do, spend that time and make connections with families. And so I went on the Google search, and that's how I found midwifery and Frontier.
So tell me a little bit more about the community-based care. Was it something that was difficult to shift into, or how did you get to know this community, or that kind of thing?
It was definitely something that I was wanting to do. Community-based care was so important. Me being more of an introvert, it was kind of hard to get out in the community and really learn about the community. But I've met so many amazing midwives. I met so many amazing doulas and pelvic floor therapists. There are so many, different folks around the community that help me to connect and learn the needs of the community. And that's why I made this practice so that I can reach all the folks that needed this care.
So can you tell us a little bit about the populations that you serve, any underserved, clients that you tend to see in your practice, or any of the particular needs in this area?
Yeah, there is, I'm one of only 2 midwives in this area who serve the Medicaid population. And so that's an important part of why I started this practice, is to reach the folks who truly need this care that's not able to just afford that out of pocket. Mm-hmm. So I do serve about 80% Medicaid population in my practice, and that's important to me. But we see a lot of families who have difficulties with transportation, food access. We see lots of issues with, just financial burdens and that they, have to overcome. And so, yeah, we see a lot of families that have those struggles.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your practice and how it's structured? If you were to introduce your practice to a potential new patient, what do you tell them?
Yeah, so in this practice, it is, family care. Like we truly are here to make sure that you are a part of your own care, that you understand and are able to advocate for yourself. We're going to hear the concerns that you have and offer you, the prenatal care that, hopefully that you deserve, and that's going to be beneficial to you and your baby. So we offer prenatal care, home birth, postpartum care. We do childbirth education as well lactation support. We offer like monthly childbirth education classes for families to have their support systems, their husbands, their partners, their children involved as well, so that everyone is aware and understand what's going on in their pregnancies.
I am so inspired by you, and I have to tell you that you are a prime example of why we do what we do at Frontier. Your story is incredible, and you are incredible, and I'm so grateful that you spent your time with us today.
Yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Another stop on this tour was with Lilia Passman at USF Midwifery in Tampa General Hospital. Lilia works alongside nurse-midwives, OBGYNs, and women's health nurse practitioners. Fun fact, this practice has 8 Frontier graduates. We held a meet and mingle at the rooftop of Armature Works. We had amazing weather and met so many wonderful graduates and students. On our way to Orlando, we stopped by an outpatient office in Kissimmee, Florida to visit with Auriel Ciccarelli. Auriel is an FNU dual graduate from her CNM and WHNP programs. She's an advocate for nurse midwives and is a passionate and inspiring preceptor for Frontier. Auriel is the epitome of what it means to be a Frontier graduate and a certified nurse midwife.
It is important, I think, to understand that no matter what your background, work experience, life experience, you can be a midwife. I have students that don't have experience in labor and delivery, for example. But what they bring to the table is unique and valid. And I am here to help them succeed, and I will help them succeed. And they do succeed. I have had many students that are successful in their careers with various different backgrounds.
After chatting with Auriel, we headed to Tree of Life Birthing Center in Altamonte Springs, where we attended a case day hosted by graduate Kayleen Richards. Throughout Florida, we saw the passion and dedication of our graduates and students and the difference each of them is making in their communities. We enjoyed meeting all of the Frontier community members along the way and loved seeing the strong Frontier connections in Florida. At the conclusion of this tour, Dr. Flinders and Frontier staff members went on a 3-day Alumni and Friends cruise to the Bahamas. If you'd like to meet up with us this year, please visit frontier.edu for the full presidential tour schedule. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of On the Trail. We'll see you next time.